got it.
All right, we will start the 4B board meeting at 6:32 p.m. on Tuesday, September 18, 2018. All members are present except member Hunter. We move to the public forum. There's no one in the public forum to speak. We will close the public forum, move to discussion action item number 1. Discuss and consider approval of the August 7th, 2018 regular meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at it? You want to look it over real quick?
Just so y'all know, we're having some email difficulties, so I apologize if you are not getting this on your iPad. I know some of y'all are having issues with the Gmail account. We've got about a 2-day delay in emails right now, so I've got printed copies on the dais for you. I sent the minutes out today.
I did not have any questions on the minutes.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion to accept the August 7, 2018 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by member Van Vessem, seconded by member Bradford. All those in favor? Passed unanimous. Move on to item number 2, discuss and consider the August 2018 financial reporting and related financial items.
So I'll review quickly the August financials that were put together by staff. We had $66,219 of revenue for the month of August, with expenses of $22,188.77. Our expenses were our routine payroll and maintenance expenses. We also had various conference subscription, other expenses that we had anticipated. It looks like we also went ahead and paid for some of the items that we had approved at one of our prior meetings for the resurfacing of the tennis and basketball courts and park. That was on the list from the Parks and Rec list, right? So all of that was included. So our end of August fund balance is $2,768,768.34. I didn't have any questions about August. I did have a question about how that flows into the post budget that was approved by council, but I don't know if we can discuss that.
I can't talk specifics on the budget, but if you have something within the financials, how that rolls over into next year, then that's acceptable.
Yeah, I was just looking at, again, it just always, and I probably should just ignore it, it's just always tricky how the, we make assumptions as to what our beginning fund balance is going to be. I was just curious to know on this. That was, so maybe you and I just need to chat about what you emailed to me.
And what Sarah's referring to, you each have it on your dais. It was just a printout of what I had already emailed y'all about the approved council budget. And so you just want to know from the financials how that got put into the beginning starting balance?
Yeah, I was curious to know on the beginning fund balance where these beginning fund balance numbers are coming from for these 3 columns, the 820 to 827 and the 910 that we have. Because I see where we are starting with 1.5 million, which is our beginning fund balance for the year. But then in these 3 columns, one says 854, and 320,000.
And that is because the beginning fund balance as of October 1st of this current fiscal year was $1,553,852. Based on your amended budget for 17-18, your ending fund balance was projected to be $854,861. Because we are not finished with the fiscal year, that is the fund balance we have to use when prepared next year.
Okay.
And of course, the $854,861 projected ending fund balance based on the amended budget is based on if you 100% of everything came to pass. So if we spent 100% of everything we had budgeted, and if we brought in revenue-wise 100% of everything that we budgeted. You know, by looking at your monthly financials, that you have exceeded that number, and mainly because of the sale of the property.
Right. But then somewhere between the August 27th version and the September 10th version, we're projecting that our fund balance is going to drop by another 500,000 from 854 to 320. And I didn't remember our budget changing
and
much from one version to the next. But
okay,
I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
Right. The $854,000 number is what your projected ending fund balance is at the end of 17-18. So for the beginning of 18-19, we have to use that number as our beginning balance.
Right.
And you drop down to projected ending fund balance for 18-19 of $320,000 because you have budgeted only $757,500 in revenues, but you have budgeted for 18-19 $1,291,000 worth of expenses. So because we're using a fund balance that, you know, for all intents and purposes is not correct, that is why you see such a low ending fund balance for 18.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is the beginning fund balance is showing to drop from 854 to 320 up here.
Yeah, in a 2-week period.
So that's what I was curious about. I was wondering if something changed.
I see what you're saying. No, that's not correct. That number's not correct. That should be 854,000.
Okay, that's what was throwing me off. I was
That's
like,
probably just a
what?
typo up
Okay,
there.
no problem.
I'm looking at a
So then when
different
you carry
sheet,
it
I'm
through.
sorry.
Oh, that's okay, no problem. I was wondering if something else changed between our last version and what the council approved.
No,
That's
and
what I
if
was
you would
getting.
like, if the board would like, we can certainly project, you know, where we feel like we're gonna end at the end of
Yeah, no,
17-18.
I get that it's,
yeah.
I get that the 854 is gonna really be closer to this 2.7.
Exactly.
Or a little bit less, obviously, because we're gonna have a few expenses that we've
We still have
approved
another.
that are gonna flow through
Right.
this fiscal year, because depending on if invoices get submitted or what have you. So let's just say 2.5 million, just to make it easy. I get that, but what I was mainly questioning is, where did that $500,000 go?
I see.
Yeah, so, it's like, where did $500,000
Yeah,
go?
well, I'm looking at a different sheet and I'm like, I don't see that number.
So, okay, cool. Okay, so the 320 should really be 854, and in reality, the 854 is probably gonna be closer to 2.5.
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
And when does that adjust?
10-1 at the beginning of our fiscal year.
Okay.
It won't actually adjust until we close out.
Yeah,
the
it will
end of
actually be
September.
2 more,
It'll-
right,
yeah.
and then it'll technically be 2 months after that, because there's a 2-month lag on the sales tax.
That's correct. So, we'll certainly have a, you know, an updated number for you next month when we look at the September financials, but keep in mind that the September financials reflect, with respect to sales tax receipts, 10 months of actual receipts and 2 months of accrual. And it takes us until November before we actually see what 12 months worth of receipts will be.
Yeah. So when we look at the 1031 numbers, it'll say beginning fund balance It'll say estimated or something.
That's right. You're
Right,
gonna
but
see it, it'll be.
include that
But
sales.
it'll be closer to the
closer
2.5
to-
number.
Right, and it will continue to move, probably for the month of October, and it'll move a little bit even in November until we get those final numbers in.
Those were my only questions. But no questions about August specifically.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept the August 2018 financial reporting and related financial items?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by member Van Vessem,
I'll second.
seconded by member Anthony. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Move on to item number 3, discuss and consider purchasing policy.
Oh, it's Phyllis's birthday this weekend.
Oh, yay, happy birthday.
Thank you. I know there's some other birthdays, September birthdays, I think, on the
Yep.
board.
We got
so
a
happy
whole-
birthday to everyone else who has a
Thank
September
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
The purchasing policy will be, this item will be tabled, just on here, let y'all know, working on it. It's turned into from a 1-pager to a 15-page document. Liz, Phyllis, and I are gonna sit down and go over this probably mid-October. So whenever we kind of come up with a cohesive purchasing policy, I'll bring it back to the board. That's all for that item.
All right. Move on to item number 4, discuss and consider additional funding toward the Glacier Concept Plan development.
As you will see on the dais, you have several documents. One document is the actual fee proposal that we received. The other one is a fee breakdown. In the fee breakdown, so originally we got the fee proposal. If you remember, we went to council and asked council and the board to split 50-50 the cost of hiring a firm to come up with a concept plan. In doing that, what the motion was to split 50-50 up to $10,000. Well, we now have come back, and after we got the fee proposal from the company we decided to hire, the fee came back at almost $30,000. So the committee kind of reviewed all of the items that they were charging us for and broke it down a little bit further to focus more on just the master plan area of the horses, taking out looking at the lease agreements and some other things that weren't necessary at this point in time. So in doing that, we brought it down to right about $15,000 plus $900 for reimbursables. Nikki and Michael, please add anything that I'm missing, but it's back on the agenda to see, and it'll go on council Monday night to see about increasing the fee to be able to move forward with this concept plan.
I will add too, I don't know if this has been discussed previously, but we did look at another company, and their fees would have been similar. So the prime compared to other companies, very excited about not just David McCaskill's group, but the horse and barn design is all they do. So
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good proposal on what they offered and showed us. The other group was actually who built Town Hall, but their I guess I would say horse person wasn't quite as good as this lady here that we ended up picking. But we did not know really at the time what the costs were going to be. So, I mean, it can be very elaborate, or but that's all up to us to decide on what we're willing to spend and what we want it to look like, and we're not trying to compete with Lone Star Horse Track or anything out there. So, I mean, it just looks like it's gonna cost us a little more to move forward.
I'm a little confused. So it says the RFQ or the master plan was 28,000 and it's come down to 15,000. So we're asking for, but the cost has gone up. We're asking for more money, so.
So when we were going to hire the firm, it was approved up to $10,000.
Okay,
So the original plan, we had budgeted 10,000, they were telling us it was gonna cost 30,000.
okay,
So,
so we still know it's more than what we originally budgeted for, but it's not as much as they originally said it was. gonna be.
right,
Okay,
they've come down off of their price, but we
Okay.
have to increase our price.
Gotcha, so they're, okay, cool.
So it's basically adding $3,000, increasing the cost by $3,000 for 4B and town.
So the original plan was 10,000 total and we were gonna split it with town,
With town
council,
council, 50/50,
and they
5,000.
agreed to that
At that,
already?
they agreed to the 50/50 split up to $10,000.
Okay,
This portion has not been, this portion will go to them next Monday.
right, okay, so everybody's getting an increase of 3,000.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
So my question is, again, on the design plan, is it still, or is there a vision that eventually we'll put this out for potential groups to come in and do this, or are we saying we're gonna design it and build it ourselves?
We are not designing and building it. This McCaskill group will be ones that take it over, that actually do
You're
it.
gonna get a tool belt that says 4B Corporation.
So all
Right.
this does is this is creating the concept plan.
Yeah,
And then once we approve, we could take that and then take it to somebody to further construct it, build it. So they're just developing.
Right. But my question being, because at some point I thought we had talked about, and maybe I'm using RFP, RFQ wrong, but to put out to equestrian operators, what's your proposal to come construct and build this thing, and what's your business proposal for the town versus, and I understand this is coming up with the town's vision of what we potentially want. So I guess that's my question. Are we still thinking we will offer that up for people to come and bid out and say that we'll build it on a whatever agreement? Or are we thinking,
I think
once we
that,
know what this is, we don't know what we don't know yet, so then it's,
Yeah, after, from what I've gotten from the meetings and discussing, we've had these two groups come and present to us, and we've talked to the operator that's currently there, that unless they made it a much more elaborate facility than we would want in the town, there's not enough money for the operator to come in and invest the money in it to build large facilities. We don't, so far what we've discussed is a relatively small scale operation with, 20 to 25 horses on the site, no big arena, competition, lights, that sort of thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Tracy.
No,
So
that's
it doesn't
exactly
seem
right.
like someone is gonna come in, a third party will come in, operate and construct. But we would still be looking at a third party to operate it for us later.
do you have the layout that lady had brought us? Just concept plan? I did, no.
again, so at this point though, it's just
It's just a plan.
Approving
It's just
the-
Yeah,
to figure out
the
what the costs are
visualization of
gonna
what it
be.
would be and the potential cost of if
Right.
we were to
Yeah.
take it on, or if somebody else did.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't take it on ourselves for sure. But
Okay.
it would just be the master plan of, okay, this is where you could put your trails or your paths, sidewalks, whatever you're gonna use. This would be the ideal location for a barn, parking lot, whatever, all
Well, that'll
that.
have to be something town council will decide if they want to take it on.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I just needed a little refresher there, so thanks.
So,
No, I
two
get it.
questions. Do we need to vote to, increase our, contribution to the consulting fee? Question number
16.
one, so that's a yes. Question number two is, what if town council says no, they don't wanna pony up the other 3,000?
Have to figure out where to go from there.
Okay, so then, alright, so then we have the option to cover more of the consulting fee if
I mean,
we
you
want
can
to.
say, in the motion where you make it contingent on town council also contributing the additional $3,000.
Because we wouldn't have enough if they didn't, right? We'd be short.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Well, so the total fee at this point is roughly $16,000. It's a little bit less than that. So we could say that we approve,
Up to 16.
up
With
to
our-
50% of $16,000. Something along those lines.
The higher motion. Because there's already a motion that's been approved to approve up to $10,000. So just amending that motion to.
Any other
Yeah.
questions?
Is everybody
No.
okay with that?
Everybody okay with that? Yeah.
What's this one? Because it totals up to 15.
Sorry, say it again.
I know in here it's got the 79.49 each, but then this totals up to 14,999.
That
Plus
does, but in the
$900.
original
Okay.
fee proposal, there's the 900 reimbursable that's not included in that.
Okay.
So I've just added that into it.
Thanks.
thank y'all for doing that. We have a couple more meetings.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else? Yeah, this is just preliminary, and we're just trying to move something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just, I don't want to get bogged down. You know, we've already discussed that about, you know, a 2-year plan, so
Yeah.
we want to get something started at least. I mean, it's not like we have to build this barn, you know, 6 months from now or whatever, but we definitely want to get something started and moving forward on this. So it's not dragging out, you know, before Javier retires. So,
Before Michael has to get off.
that's not too far away. Yes.
Got a question if the committee is willing to take a question.
All right, hold on. Let me, we have someone in the audience that would like to speak. We'll open it up to public forum at this time. Come forward. We won't make you pull a pink slip out.
All right, I'm Emery. We have a lot of expertise in our town. A lot of people who have horses, a lot of people who have farming backgrounds or grew up with horses. Before we spend $10,000 or $12,000 or $15,000 on a consultant, have we asked the community if there's anybody who'd be willing to be part of a committee to do the investigation and research that we're looking for?
We have not done
That would be a good starting point.
Well, here, I'm not saying it
We
wouldn't.
get it done for free and probably get 90% of the work. Just a question.
Well, haven't we had a committee member who has equestrian experience?
Yes. We do have a committee member that has extensive horse experience. The only thing, here's my point of view on that, is that we have enough committees and we just drag things out whenever we have more committees off of another committee, off of another committee. We're trying to move forward on something, is what we're trying to do. Not that there's somebody out there, if there is, it'd be great, but the person that is part of the McCaskill group has done this for a living for, I don't know, 30 years, approximately, and very impressive compared to anybody we've come across yet. So, in our past experience, in my past experience, I would have to say, in the things, different events or different projects we've had, they tend to disappear when it's being done for free. They end up getting basically dragged out for 8-9 months and no accomplishment, and then all of a sudden we haven't done anything. So if you have somebody that you know of, that'd be great. contact us. But,
they don't live in Sunnyvale.
well,
And also the work that would be done is not just consulting, it's actual, design of what the site would look like, architectural design work. So I'm not sure if a citizen committee would be able to get that done for free, or if we.
yeah. So, all right, we will, you have any other questions? Okay. We will close the public forum. And can I get a motion to change our previous amount of money that we were putting forward on the Glacier Concept Plan with the additional amount of money?
Make a motion to approve an amendment to no more than $16,000 with a 50-50 split between 4B and Town Council.
Motion made by Member Weiss, seconded by Member Torres. All those in favor? Pass unanimous. Move on to item number 5. Discuss and consider the Vineyard Park lighting.
This has been brought back up. You'll see a letter, an email that I received on the dais asking about if 4B was still going to put in lights at Vineyard Park. So I told her I would bring it back up to see if the board still wanted to. We had it delayed for so long to wait on the UDO and the height restrictions and setbacks and stuff. And the last time it was brought back, we had kind of postponed it, or I was postponing it because we were talking about the sports athletic complex, and if we did that, would we need the lights at Vineyard Park? So, not sure the sports athletic complex is going to go anywhere quickly. So it's just a matter of if we still would like to move forward with the lights at Vineyard Park. It would, just to recap, they were the LED pole lights. There would be 6 LED pole lights at 30 feet, and the price was $64,378 from Clark Electric, and this quote that I had received was June of 2017, but I called and talked to him today. He said that that price would still be good.
And those 30 feet taller would be approved by town council, height restrictions and all that?
Yes, it just sets it back. So however tall the pole is, it's a 1.5 foot setback from a residential line.
So originally, we had multiple, it's been so long since I looked at it, multiple configurations
Yeah.
with the amount of light that they would do and whatever the bleed over factor was and all that. And so is this the one that went down the middle? 'Cause it
No,
was
this
deemed
is,
that
the last one that y'all approved was the 6 surround.
Okay, shining in.
And here's
They're all on the outside of the path, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And how far is the path from the property line though? Because that was the factor that.
Where the red dots are where the poles are. All the numbers are the bleed, like the candle foots.
Okay, I'm gonna trust the expert over here, because I've never played soccer in my life. Or put up an electric pole.
Right on the edge of it. So I just can't recall what the measurement is on this one that's over here by the,
I think it's pretty close.
that backs up to the house. I mean, the house is quite a ways away, but it's the property line. If
It's the
that,
property line, it has to, if we do a
45
30-foot
feet.
pole, it's gotta be 45-foot setback, so it's gonna go inside the sidewalk.
on that
But,
side.
yes, but they said that would still not get
Yeah,
into.
'cause the soccer,
Setback.
It's 1.5 foot times the height of the pole.
because the soccer fields are not right up to the,
Right, they said it would not interfere with the soccer field.
Was there another quote that was like 20-something grand, or am I dreaming?
That may have been one of the
There was
original.
this has been on our docket for a long
For a
time.
long time.
It
Yeah.
went from like
It-
300 grand
that's-
down to 80-something
yeah.
grand, down
Yeah.
to, I think the 64
Okay,
grand
maybe
was
that-
probably the
Yeah,
cheapest.
so it was like legit stadium lights type of
Yeah.
thing first.
And that was too bright for the
Right.
neighbors, I think.
And fairly excessive, you know. But her, this Beard's note is accurate, you know, because Michael Dowdy, remember, he paid for that out of his own pocket, not even the parents. At least the parents are chipping in now. But the Sarissa numbers have absolutely skyrocketed, and that's not going anywhere.
And it's true.
I still, I mean,
It's not part of the Sarissa, but youth sports in Sunnyvale, it's kind of here to stay.
we
So-
approved it before pending council's
Council.
approval, and then it
UDO
got
deal.
shot down because of the UDO.
Well, no, it never got taken before council for approval because we had to wait to see what they were gonna do with the height changes. So once they started that, it got pulled off of council. So this has never been brought before council.
We did put it
it
before
may have been
council, and they
before.
went to, I think it was
Yeah.
before
Before my
you.
time.
Yeah.
But was it the
But-
bigger number?
I think it possibly, or it may have just been the general idea, but it was not well received. So
Yeah, I
let's,
remember
Well, there was a couple of
yeah.
council
So-
members that didn't, yeah, they
Yeah, they
didn't,
were
they
not
were worried
pro
about the whole
sports.
thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I say let's roll the dice again
do it.
and put it back out there. I mean, we've been sitting on sports projects for a long time, and I think that's probably a
It would be a
decent
good
quote.
use of our, I mean, we've been wanting to do it since
Yeah.
before I came on board.
No.
We've been needing to do something with that park for a while.
Yeah, and that's a good price. I mean, it ends up the way they set that up for practices too. You know, they could have 8 teams practicing at once.
Yeah.
And they divide that thing up. Oh, no, yeah, you could have 8. They were like scrimmaging each
And they're
other
doing half fields and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
But having 4 would be, I know that would go a long way. You know, being able to have 4 teams practice, because the time change is right upon us.
That's true.
And it just gets dark so early.
And if they'll honor a price from a year and a half, you know,
That's a
over
good deal.
year
And
ago.
LED is,
And we'd be able to use the, like, further down the road, we decide, we get some big sports complex and we move all the soccer fields there, these would still work for other purposes, right?
Yeah, or, I mean, like, the little kids still,
They use it.
they
instead.
use it, but,
Okay.
in Brownsboro, last weekend for varsity, they had LED, I've not seen those before in stadium lights. But,
Yeah, they were.
they were okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely tell, especially when they went on.
Yeah.
It looked like a bolt of lightning went
But
on.
is 30 feet tall enough for pole? Doesn't seem very tall. to me
well, this
for
is
some
the
reason.
practice
Yeah.
field, it's not the,
You wouldn't.
They
put
don't
it
play
in.
any games there?
no.
Oh.
No. Yeah, the only issues I think, I mean, just would town be, who would be responsible for turning them on and off? I mean, all those, that would just be the only logistical, you know, a practice schedule.
Yeah, I'm assuming there would be
Uh,
some kind of key or whatever to
yeah.
turn them on and off.
Because
You could put a
Right.
lock
Or a
box.
timer during season.
Yeah, timer box, like the tennis
Yeah.
courts.
because she has a pretty definitive end time here of 8:30. And the lights will be turned off by 9. I mean, you could set them at 9:15 or
Right.
just something.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever, yeah,
So
exactly.
what would the process be if we approved it, then it would go before council and then it would do a 60-day public hearings that we,
We'd have to set a public hearing. I could go ahead and notify it. Actually, I think it's already been notified.
that's
or
what I was
at this
wondering,
price.
if we,
I'll have to go back and look at the notification. And if that notification is for this amount in Clark Electric, then it's already been notified. 60 days is.
It
so
should,
we would
yeah.
just need town council's approval and then we can move forward.
It should, yeah, it should be.
Well, I'm good making a motion. I mean,
I'm good with it, you know, like I said, I wanna move on progress. Do something, you know, I know Tracy has mentioned something about the sports complex, so we're not, right, as of right now, we're not doing anything, so.
I would give, if you do want to make a motion, I would kind of give a little leeway.
We should probably do the plus or
Maybe
minus
even-
10, we should probably do the plus or minus 10%.
It may even be more than 10%. And the only reason I say that is just exclusions in here, landscape repair, replacement. So we're going to have to repair whatever
Well, typically, we would handle those as a separate deal, wouldn't we?
10%.
What are you talking about landscape?
There's no landscape
There's,
other than
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Unless
nothing
there's
out there,
sprinklers.
so.
Yeah.
dirt and weeds.
That's true. And 10% just, it didn't sound like a lot, but
There
I
may
said
be a sprinkler in
$6,500, so that should.
But that,
Yeah.
they shouldn't be.
Now, 10%
No.
is $70,800.
No. It's six,
Oh, with the, she already
Oh, okay.
included, I was like, what?
I should have known better than the
Question,
question.
Sarah.
Sarah's math.
Oh, that's fine, if you question it.
You better be right
What
there.
was the total? Six what?
$70,815.
Yeah, what was the other total?
It's $64,378.
Yeah.
Like this, so maybe the landscaping.
So I would just say the 64,378 plus or minus 10%.
That's good, good graph.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with contracting with Park Electric to install 6 LED pole lights at Vineyard Park for the previously quoted price of $64,378 plus or minus 10%. Subject to approval by town council.
Second.
Motion made by member Bradford, seconded by member Van Vessen. All those in favor? Passed unanimous. Move on to item number 6. Discuss and consider 2018-2023 Economic Development Strategic Plan and Goals.
1 second. So this is put back on the agenda for us to review. The strategic plan needs to be finalized. And we have a joint session with council October 29th. You may not have been at that meeting, it is announced. But if you were not at the meeting, please make sure you write and mark your calendars for October 29th. I think how we're going to structure it is 4A would like to have their own session time with council so they don't get overpowered by the parks about, I guess, some of their items. So I think how we're going to do it is from 6 to 7, 4A, from 7 to 7:30, have a joint session with all of them, all the boards, 4A, 4B, and town council, and then 4B, however late it takes. Just to kind of get you need some answers on Vulcan property, sports complex, townhomes.
We're gonna
Purchasing
we're gonna
power
meet at
plants.
7, or what time are we?
Yes.
Okay,
October 29th.
yeah.
Monday.
So I wanted to go ahead and get this before you now to get some discussion going because I really want to get a specific agenda put together for that meeting so that we can actually walk out of there feeling accomplished. So if there's
I'll bring
any,
my notebook from our last meeting.
if there's any specific items
Back in 1983.
you would like to discuss, any of the goals, any of the things. One of the biggest ones I figured I keep getting asked about is rails to trails.
Yes.
So I think we need to have Eric, we need to work on putting together a plan for council. And that was one that is off the top of my head that really sticks out on needing a discussion on. The sports athletic complex is another one. Do I stop messing with this or do we move forward? Is that something even a possibility?
I think it,
Help me out if there's any my brain is.
I like both of those. I'm hoping I can be there. I'm looking at the calendar. That could be volleyball playoffs, but I think I would like for the council to at least hear about sports complex from somebody else, you know, from some other folks. Because I've talked to a few of them, just, you know, they've asked questions, and it's fine. I don't, you know, again, I do this all the time just because of what I do, because of my kid. But if nothing else, that has definitely given me some insight into that world. And if you don't have that, I could see how that would be hard to get your mind around. So maybe just to give us some validity that as far as this is big business, and potentially very, very good for the town, apart from revenue. I think a lot of things come along with it. So I think both of those things would be worthwhile.
In your experience with that, I've heard there is, and spoke with somebody, that we have a very large swimming population here, lap swimming, and the need for a lap swimming pool in Sunnyvale. And eyeing that possibly with a rec center. I know that's maybe down the road, but at what point do we start figuring out what it's gonna cost to build a rec center and add a lap pool? Is that even something anybody wants to get involved with?
We had talked about YMCA before, and Sherry had gone way down that path, but it was, at the time, the town couldn't support it, you know.
Yeah, you had to have
a lot of private donors.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
200
And so-
grand, if I remember right out of the gate. Then we had to spearhead basically
Nonprofit committee, separate from the city.
a fundraising committee, though. I mean, we would need to go out and raise those private dollars, and it was a lot.
But separate from that, you know, if the town wanted to do their own standalone rec center,
Yeah.
you know,
I
that,
thought you had concerns too about just the way the Y handles their sports leagues.
I do, yeah. I just thought that deal was not a good fit for us.
well, again, to me, it complements, and it's like in Rockwall, you've got the Rockwall facilities, and then you've got the YMCA, and, you know, and you've got people that like the Y, and you got people that like Select, you know, it's two totally different groups of people,
Yeah.
so it's,
But if we had to pick one, you know, I would lean that direction. But as far as swimming, Tracy, I don't have any experience in that. To me,
Well, my daughter was,
I would need to be
my
educated.
daughter was a competitive swimmer for a few years, and we had to go to Rockwall, and so most of the kids who do swim have to go to Rockwall. And it's painful because when you get into the high school age, you're
Right.
expected to go every day, and you have to go like 2 hours. I don't know how big the population is out now.
When the gentleman I spoke with, he just runs the Mesquite during the summer, and he was saying out of 112 kids that they had, there were 70-something that were just from Sunnyvale alone.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that
And
big.
then not only that, there was a big adult
Mhm.
swim group that they had as well. The need is here. It's just now kind of educating where that need is and figuring out.
Yeah,
what
I wouldn't make it a standalone focus. I would make it
Yeah.
all part of the rec center idea to try to,
correct.
that would just be my.
More like a
opinion.
Richardson Plano rec center with a decent sized pool, not necessarily the
Yeah, we're not
Olympic
gonna
center
be-
like you have in Rockwall.
Yeah, no, I don't see us doing that.
And it seems like it would be, if it's possible, a good idea to do some different aspects of the facility so we're not going in blind.
Yeah. Sports, other than swimming, those would be fairly good numbers, or easy numbers to get from Sarissa.
Well, I mean, but like the rec center has racquetball, and I mean, like the one in Rowlett, that place is packed all the time, but it's
Mhm.
You know,
got
it
all
has
the
2
court
courts up.
things, and well, they've got more than 2, don't they?
Not racquetball courts, I
Thought they
play
did.
out there. That's the
Handball,
problem.
but, and then the basketball courts, but you know, so it's
Yeah.
got a mix of.
Oh,
a
it's
lot
got
of
it,
different
yeah,
things,
it's
and
got everything in
It's
there.
busy all the time.
Yeah,
And the tennis courts, when they're done, will have pickleball.
Yeah, which
That's-
is obviously popular with some people.
it's
and
gotten
some
real
don't.
popular.
My neighbor.
And you can use a regular sized tennis
Yeah,
court and you
me
can
too.
put
How many-
2 on there.
Yeah.
We just use our driveway.
Yeah.
So another big one that's under the park section in the strategic plan is a bike plan.
A bike plan.
It's on page 19, 6.2.
Is that going back to where, I mean, I remember talk of bike lanes and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, it was
Right
a
now, we don't have enough
2017.
lanes for cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see there's so much construction needed on roads right now. I just,
I mean, a bike plan to go along with the trail plan seems like it would work, but I don't know how you
yeah, I don't
integrate it
see
with
how
the-
we integrate
with our
that into our
currently roads.
streets unless we start working with TechStot on working that into the expansions that are going on, that are already planned.
Yeah. But this is just specific to a plan. It's not saying we're,
Yeah. I don't know, I wouldn't even know how to go about doing that.
Okay. Jobson Park is another one.
Well, let's
that-
back up to that for just a minute, because I'm not opposed to doing anything related to a bike plan, but I think we wanted to focus on things that were beneficial. Okay, let me back up. The bikes, we get a lot of bike traffic for people who don't live in Sunnyvale. And because we don't have the retail and the restaurants yet, they can't exactly stop and spend any money here. So we're really just a path for them, which is cool. I'm not opposed to anybody driving their bike from Sunnyvale. But right now, we need to focus on things that are gonna, I don't know, does that sound super
I
stupid?
think
I
that's
don't
what we
think so.
said in
That's
previous
kind of what
meetings,
we said.
it was
It's not that I'm
focused
opposed
right
to it,
now.
I think it's just further down the list, right?
Well,
Because
some
right
really
now
other
the-
important things like
No offense,
infrastructure.
Tommy.
Yeah,
Here.
I mean, right now, the bike riders for the
But I
most
like
part
your
are,
idea of doing it in conjunction with the rails to trails, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But trying to do it in conjunction with expanding our streets and stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
well, we don't even have shoulders right now, so.
Right.
I
I
know we
mean, that's-
can't even walk.
Other
That's
than the
kinda
few
bad.
places that the sheriff's department likes to nab people, we don't have shoulders.
but I mean, majority of the bike riders only come down Highway 80, you know, and they're looping around.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
haven't
that's
seen
for
as
the,
many lately coming through town.
They come down Tripp and Barnes Bridge, and I mean, they do that whole loop.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, back by the lake.
right.
It's a different population that we're talking. If we're talking bike, people riding their bikes on a walking, running trail, that's a completely different
Correct, yeah.
population
Right.
Right.
than the ones that come every Saturday and Sunday mornings
Right.
and
And
go through
I'm-
Ranch Ridge. And the reason they come here is because of our hills, not because our roads are great. Because it's challenging. That's why I ended up living here, because I was one of those folks. So I think it'd be great once we develop some of our land, if we want to attract a bike shop, which I mean, these people are buying $10,000 bikes. There's tax involved in that, which comes back to the reason we're here. So if we want to attract a bike shop, at that point, it would be good to have designated bike streets where these kind of serious cyclists come through town. And they're going to come through town regardless of whatever we do here. But yeah, at some point it would be smart to do that. But yeah, right now I don't know that we got bigger fish to fry for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think one of the items for this one was bringing in a bike ride that, like, it's based here in Sunnyvale, like the one that the Rotary Club does in Mesquite that comes through
Comes through
Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale.
So again, if we're gonna further down in our, once we're down the road where we're marking stuff or whatnot, I think that would be a good idea. But again, I don't know that right now is a good time to do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, in that respect, not to be picky, but is it important to move the Rails to Trails project further up the list, literally?
Yes, so I'll take all of your comments from tonight, reorganize this and put together an agenda, items for the joint meeting, and bring it back next meeting. That way, we kind of review it one more time before we go to council as a joint meeting.
So to me, 6.1 and 6.3, I know they're 6.3 complements 6.1, you know, so I guess it would be right underneath it. So update the vision and strategy for the trail system, and then the rails immediately following that.
As well as the safe routes to schools.
Correct.
Yeah,
And we're already partnered with
and I would even
SISD
put,
on safe routes, because they've already pitched in to pay for that traffic study and all that stuff. So.
and I would keep park acquisitions before I would put the bike plan as well. I know we're still a long way away from buying more land at this point, but.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring up Jobson. I mean, in my opinion, there's no real need to purchase Jobson Park. There's nothing we can do to further develop that. I know the one baseball field is on there, but anytime you even mention putting lights up there, the neighbors come out. I just don't see us developing that into anything significant to want to purchase it. So I guess I just want to get y'all's feedback on because if that's the case, then I could take
Other than
that off of there.
other than a potential neighborhood park that.
Like with a playground. Or,
Right, correct. That's what I
Yeah.
mean with the trail, because it has trail connectivity. But
And at a better price, if I recall, it was a big ask.
yeah,
Well, and we would, even if we purchased it, we wouldn't have to put lights out there. We could still improve the trail that we were going to do, that we had gotten quoted. And we could add a second baseball field, which we were gonna do. We could add a playground. We could make it a really nice park even without adding lights.
right.
But then when it's in the evening times, you don't have lights out there, you're.
No, but baseball's typically in the spring and the early fall.
Yeah.
The younger kids are the ones that are stacked up on top of each other. So
Right.
if you had two out there, it would really help,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even without
That was
lights.
the idea, was not to make it a
Do
Good
people
soccer.
use the field?
Huh?
Do people use
Jobson.
the field?
Oh yeah,
as a
yeah.
practice base for
The
baseball.
T-ball from whatever age that starts, 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's the little ones.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
up till
And they're not gonna have them out late at night.
it's like maybe second
I
grade,
guess the
3rd grade is
goal
when
to-
they stop using them.
We could get a bigger sports complex.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stopgap.
Yeah. It was a good price. I mean,
Yeah, if it was a good price and we could.
So not a major focus like it was.
No, at
maybe
the
a
time,
year or two
at the
ago.
time when we thought we were gonna get it for a good deal and those houses weren't being built right there, yeah, it was a focus of ours and we were really super interested in it, but
So did I miss the school is not,
I don't know what
I
the.
mean, the school would sell it to us?
I don't.
They'll sell it to us at a price.
Yeah,
Because the last one was they still have to have the ability if they need to.
Right, I thought it was their backup for expansion.
It is.
So they're looking, if we can find them 40 acres, they would give it to us.
Right.
But in the last conversations I've had, just because they are keeping it as a backup, if they cannot find the additional 40 acres to build a high school, then the possibility of building another elementary school would go there still.
and how many acres is this?
16.
So how does 16 and 40 equal each other? Sorry.
The numbers
You have
game.
to check my math sometimes.
Yeah, that all may have changed now that the other one's already obviously going vertical.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's
5
just
years down the
bargaining
road, it's,
chip.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's-
I can't realistically see them building a school there.
No.
I can't either. I think,
it would
I
have to
think,
be a tiny neighborhood school like.
yeah. But
Okay.
I think I think they know that we're interested.
So Vineyard Park though, we already just did the light.
Well, hopefully council will get on
Samuel
board with the
Farm
lights
North.
on there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just move Vineyard ahead of Jobson, and then we don't know what the heck we can do for Samuel Farm.
Any update on that, or that was,
It just got pushed to the back because there's no need, if we weren't going to build anything or do anything on it at this point, it doesn't make any sense.
well, I mean, the big deal was the PD and right? Was, if we did anything, then Mesquite could still annex it, so that was where it was kinda like,
Correct.
can we get it? Which might not be that big of a deal anyways, you know, as long as we got to use it, but.
And as of right now, to my knowledge, in speaking with them,
Barnes Bridge Park, I would say, needs to be split up.
be a big one to ask council about, to figure out when they plan on opening it and what they envision.
Sounds like a good project for the new parks director, whenever they replace.
Parks director will start on Monday.
Oh, I
Wow.
was joking, I just assumed they hadn't hired anybody yet.
So Robert's last day will be Wednesday.
So they have a
He's
3-day
gonna-
handover?
Yeah, he's gonna
That's
come
actually
in
nice.
and work with
More than you
the
can
new
think.
guy for a few days. So his name Burton Barr. So the next 4B meeting, I'm gonna see if he will come. So I haven't met him either. So hopefully Monday I will meet him. But
BAR or BARR?
BARR. He is actually coming to us from Claiborne.
Claiborne or Cleburne?
Cleburne, is that how you pronounce it? An hour, 15 minutes north of here, wherever,
Well,
which
that's
direction? Hour and
west.
15
West.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
It's around here somewhere.
It's between here and Stephenville, it's west.
Robert just mentioned he will be driving that every day, so.
Oh,
That's
he
an
may
hour
not
and
be
a
here
half.
long.
Right.
uh,
Depending on what time of day you live. Ooh.
So, I mean, he may move down this way, I don't know. I've
Yeah.
not, like I said, I haven't had a conversation with him, so I hope to have him at the next board meeting to introduce him. So, I think Barnesbridge would be a good one to find out what council's thoughts are. Anything else that y'all see that just kind of shoots out on specifics?
Well, we've already done some of these park enhancements.
What about finding out about disc golf?
We
Can
talked
give you
about that.
Ross's
and-
Miracles opinion on that one?
That one we talked about for Samuel Farm North, right? 'Cause
Well,
it's
we just did
pretty
a
little
recent
and-
survey, and there was a lot of input
We
for,
did?
yeah.
Facebook poll.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it would be,
Yeah, how
it's
did
a
that-
pretty low
Oh,
cost
it was,
project.
everybody wants to disc golf around here.
Really?
Yeah, inside, outside Sunnyvale, it didn't matter, they were all, I mean,
Yeah.
I had over 1,000 hits on that one
Really?
hole, yes. People sharing it.
People use it all
Disc golf,
now.
people sharing it with other people, I mean, it was,
Yeah, but we can make any money.
We can make money,
Once
as long as we
this-
spend money.
Well, these restaurants, once they go up, right, and
Yeah.
Provident, I mean, they're right there. So if people come into town, they'll be.
I think it'd be a
playing.
neat thing, cause it's a low cost
It's, yeah.
on our
Yeah.
part and
Well,
it's
let's
something for
revive
people to
it.
do.
Yeah, what was the negative on that one? Why did they not wanna proceed?
Well, the biggest problem we had was the complaint of trimming the trees.
Yeah.
You mean
A
the
resident,
weeds?
no, actually the trees themselves.
What trees? They're all cedars, they're weeds.
They are now.
They are
weren't-
now,
They weren't
but
then.
the resident was having issues because to do anything on her property, she would have to adjust those
The tree
trees.
mitigation
But that's
policy has
changed, right?
changed. Yes,
Yeah.
it's changed
So now
since
it's,
then.
that's no
Yeah.
longer,
Now
No,
it's-
I
I'm
remember
just
now.
saying, that's,
Yeah.
Yep.
that was the issue, and it
Gotcha.
kinda got blocked, and we're like, we don't know how many trees we need
Yeah,
to
cedar
trim.
trees are considered trash trees now.
No.
So now, I think it's definitely,
And we had two different people come that are professional,
Some pro
whatever
disc
they
golf
are,
people coming here. It's pretty
and
impressive.
they actually volunteered to help
And like
trim,
run the
run
tournaments.
it, do
and-
tournaments and everything like that.
Oh,
so.
the other issue too was they really suggested that we pave a parking lot.
Yeah,
And we were a little hesitant to put that much money into
Right.
something on the property that we didn't own.
yeah,
So we would need to relook at how much that would cost. And I think we could, at this point, if we were running a lot leaner on our fund balance back then and
yeah.
whatever, I don't remember what the quote was, I could go back and look at my notes, but we were like,
Pave it or
No,
gravel?
Well,
well.
they
I-
were suggesting paving,
Yeah,
but I mean, if we had gravel,
and also
Yeah.
bathrooms. We didn't have any
no,
bathrooms.
we did not have any bathrooms.
Yeah,
bathroom.
but we could do a rental potty service or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a weekend deal, so that's something.
You could do a buy one, get one.
you could also possibly look at incorporating disc golf with,
Right.
and making that a big
That would be
disc
cool.
golf,
The biggest thing.
The only thing though is with
100 and.
Highway
Oh.
80
Yeah.
would be so easy access for, since we would have a lot of town traffic.
But if you
was-
have the concerns of if it doesn't go
Right.
A or whatever, then.
Yeah. The only, I mean, in my opinion, the only concern we'd have would be, like Sarah said, paving.
But we
the
don't
cost
own-
of pavement.
We don't own New Hope either.
No, but it's in our city limits.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we were able to to just use gravel, even make a bigger parking lot. I mean,
Well,
got
let's
that
dust
road
that off and
Yeah.
have them
Keep it
come
open
out
now, or
and
keep-
design both areas again. And,
We'll bring it up at our,
well, I mean, yeah, you'll need to comment on the level of interest that you received. At the time, we had nothing as far as retail or restaurants in the works, so we didn't have
Yeah.
anywhere for them to spend their money. So,
Yeah, it was all
We-
cost, no real upside
Right.
at that point.
right,
right.
right.
I saw it in here, but it was more under the development side.
Yeah,
6.6.
3, yeah.
I'm sorry.
The championship
Yeah,
one was
6.6.
55.
Thinking about a different topic, I guess. Oh, you know, but in here somewhere there's, you know, about communicating and working with the lakefront property owners and stuff, and because that's also a potential win-win if they want to do a lease agreement or something for that space that's just being mowed. You know, I don't know if it's under ag or what.
What,
what
what
property?
place are you talking about?
Up there south of the power plant off of Barnes Bridge and Town East, where eventually it's gonna be a neighborhood, it appears, you know, with the trees that surround it and the white fence and,
No,
but that would be, it's level. It's got a trail that goes all the way around it, but right now the only thing that runs around it's a dog. And all the oak trees, but you know, to me that could be a win-win if those property owners were amenable to some sort of a public use agreement until they choose to develop it.
that's where 190 is going to.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
whatever year. But they're just waiting for that to, I'm assuming, to
Exactly.
maximize their dollars. But
Right.
between now and then, it's just stuff they mow, so it might be a good,
They also use it for grazing.
yeah.
So if we were to
Well,
do
a lot of the
something, they wouldn't
grazing's
be
to
able
the south, so I've never seen any cows on that.
It's the Ibarres
Yeah.
property.
I'm
Should
talking
we
more.
add New Hope on here? If that's a potential secondary site for disc golf? And also by then I'd have more information back from the citizen committee about the butterfly gardens and the level of interest they were able to find out. We want to discuss that more as well.
okay. Anything else in particular?
Hey, here's a golf right here.
Yeah, I think just some reordering, just to represent just some updates to our priorities and things that we've done and
Question.
What about the holiday light project and Collins and all that stuff?
Still being discussed with staff at this time.
What's that?
It's still being discussed with staff at this time.
Okay. I just didn't know if it needed to be in here in terms of town beautification or whatever you call it.
So,
Because it's not just December, it's year-round usage.
so one thing, if you haven't used the Facebook Live to watch our town council folks' meetings, if you don't turn on your mic, they can't hear you very well. So question on the Facebook poll that you did for the disc golf.
Yes, sir.
Was there any thought of doing that for some of the other items here? Like, I mean, I know I have an interest in the dog park, but we always seem to, it's lower priority. And I don't know what the interest is. Would it be possible to do something similar for?
I don't have the list with me, but I've got it printed out, or I put down what questions I asked. I probably asked like 5 or 6 different questions. And I can't remember if dog park is on there or not, but I can show y'all next time what those polls were and the results.
I think last time with the dog park, we talked about the property there and by the lake, that would be a great place to eventually have a dog park. So we can talk about that with our joint session, but just curious of what the interest was from other folks in town. So And I mean, I think the the citizens survey we did, I don't know, 5 years ago was, we had like what, 150 responses. So now with social media, it sounds like we're definitely getting more
It depends on
feedback.
what the question was.
Okay.
So there were other questions that there was hardly any responses, but disc golf just happened to be one of those that really got a lot.
Well, and that's a community that they mobilized is what they did, I'm sure. They said, hey,
Right. So it's not like everybody
Alert
from
the troops.
Sunnyvale or
Right.
anything.
It's kind of like the sports top football game for Friday. You know.
oh yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's the same thing. If you tell everybody that you know or whatever, like everybody's starting to vote.
We won.
Oh, do we? I know.
Yeah.
I know we were coming up close.
Yeah. We're game of the week.
It's a game of the week, and then if you're picked as the game of the week, then you get
News
a
coverage.
news reporter. Yeah, goes
Y'all
out there.
did win?
I think we did, yeah.
That's awesome, because when I voted, Allen was way ahead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got wrong.
Yeah.
Let me look.
The- Early,
Well, they
early
do.
this morning they were way ahead, but the last time I checked, we had moved up quite a bit.
They also do different size schools in different weeks.
All right, guys, anything else on
No, I think that'll.
this? If you
Get
can
us-
think of anything else or want to add anything or have any comments, questions after this meeting, feel free to email me. Get this.
All right, we will move on to item number 7, discuss future agenda items and events.
Our next regular meeting is October 9th, 6:30. We need to possibly look at, our November meeting, we need to look at possibly either not having that meeting if we don't have anything, or we need to move it back. November 8th, the chamber has scheduled the business expo for that evening. So,
November 8th?
That's a Thursday.
That's a Thursday.
sorry,
November 6th is our meeting.
November
It was 6th election day.
November 13th is our meeting, and
Yeah.
November 13th is the expo.
Oh,
Hmm.
So you're correct, we do need to move our meeting.
my apologies. Yes, November 13th.
It's weird it doesn't show.
November 8th. Oh yeah, I see where that is. I was looking at, November 8th is the Boards and Commissions Dinner at Town Hall.
What is that?
That is where all the boards and commission members and their spouses are invited to a dinner to say thank you for serving on the board.
I don't
They've
think
done
I've
it.
ever come to
They've
that.
done it for
we,
the last
yeah, we,
They told
we
us
did
like
it
the day
last year.
before.
2
or
years.
something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
2 years
last year
running.
was- Yeah, this is the
Last
third
meeting.
year.
Yeah.
I know I've never brought my husband up here.
No, last year the only person there was only one board member out of both boards that attended.
We were
Yeah,
both
I
here.
was.
'Cause he was
No,
last
we
minute.
were
But-
both here the year before.
Don't mark your
I think-
calendars for November 8th yet, even though that was on the schedule to council, they may change it. So as soon as I find out the date, I will let you know. But yes, we need to change the November 13th meeting. The other thought is possibly having maybe just one November, December meeting towards at the beginning of December. Can look at that too, but we can see
Yeah,
what
because
our.
the 20th is the week of Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
which isn't a
Well-
problem for me, but some other people
Yeah,
will be
that's-
traveling.
We were gonna, look at that.
Week out of school, yes.
Has anybody got any vacation planned Thanksgiving?
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Because we didn't want to set that up unless we knew.
So either November 27th or December 4th.
If we want to combine it, right? The December.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the
we just
idea,
have
I
one.
like the idea of combining them into one meeting. All this stuff at the schools and
Yeah.
stuff, but
So
all the Christmas.
December 4th?
November 27th or December 4th. Those are kind of the end of.
27th is probably safer because it's the week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I prefer the 27th, but that's just me.
I do too, that seems better.
Yeah.
Plus the January meeting would be the 8th, so that way it's kind of spaced out better on the 27th.
Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
So we're moving the 13th meeting to November 27th,
And the 11th.
and then we're canceling the December 11th meeting. Is that correct?
And again, in November, I will let you know when that boards and commissions dinner is, October 29th. mark it for 7 p.m. for y'all, unless you want to come and hear what is going on with the 4A. That'll start at 6 o'clock. Next regular town council meeting, September 24th, October 8th. The chamber annual breakfast is October 9th at Christian Care Center from 8 to 9 a.m. I will be out of state for the IEDC annual conference, September 29th through October 3rd. Still be available, phone, email. And then an update on, so council for the last 2 council meetings has done board interviews. They'll do one more round of board interviews this coming Monday night, and then hopefully this Monday they'll make a decision on who's on the board. So as soon as I hear who is elected to the board, I'll let everybody know. We'll do election of officers again.
So you say one seat that we're, one new person?
So we have 4 people that are potentially up, but 3 of y'all have determined that y'all want to be reappointed. So we have 1 that is obviously off the board. So council can make a decision to replace anybody on the board at any point in time. So it's just a matter of what their decision is.
Oh, so we can be replaced?
At any time. And,
Well, I knew that.
and for any reason. Or no reason.
Sold.
I'll volunteer for that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm curious who's up.
Anything else?
That is all I have, unless anybody wants anything on the next agenda. Okay.
All right. Next item on is executive session. Section 551.087, Economic Development, Project Barn, and Project Salsa at 7:46 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Unless you're staying. Probably an hour.
Bye.
All
right.
Good one too.
On.
Troy,
Good to know
Troy
about-
caught on that one? I love
Do
Troy.
we even know what motions to know that we have a pending plan? We do, and that'll help our plan.
Yeah.
A fearless leader does.
Although we don't know.
The recorder's
Over
on.
there, hold on. I mean, it's just, it's been on.
Do we need to do them separate?
Yeah, there's an 8 and a 9.
3.5 million, so. Gonna cost us.
Did everybody sign that?
Mhm. Yep.
Yes, baby, right behind you, Daddy. Thank you.
All right, we were end the executive session at 8:43 p.m. Can I get a motion for section 551.087 economic development? First one was Project Barn.
Make a motion to approve the amendment for Project Barn as written.
But
We need to,
Barn was not an amendment. Barn is it's the first agreement
Just-
you've seen.
the number on number 8.
The agreement is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just make the motion to accept.
Motion to accept the agreement as written for the barn at Long Creek. Incentive agreement.
Motion made by member Weiss,
Second.
seconded by member Bradford. All those in favor? Passed unanimous. Can I get a motion for Project Salsa, which is section 551.087, number 9?
I'll make the motion to accept the financial incentive agreement for $187,500 for Sunnyvale Park Square.
Motion made by member Van Vessem,
Second.
seconded by member Weiss. All those in favor? Passed unanimous. We will adjourn at 8:45 p.m. Man.